What's up, libtards? If Riven's so good, why isn't there a Riven 2? Wait, no. 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 No!
Pray, fool! You face a Darkin! Your annihilation beckons! I am Aatrox! I am the world ender! You think you can kill me? Behold immortality! Let them lament my name.
So Aatrox rework just got revealed. Um and it's the direction they're taking this champion in. It's really shifted from a jumbled mess of non intersequating abilities into something a lot more feasible, um, something that makes more sense in a kit. Let's just go through it. Let's fuck the formalities. Look, these got new splash art too, new voice lines. It's sort of like a light rework, sorta. They're just really focusing more on the gameplay and not on Aatrox's aesthetics as a whole, because they wanted to keep his design, pretty much the same, but they just wanted to fix his kit so it actually, felt right to play with and didn't contradict itself in the dumbest ways. So this is Aatrox, the Darkin Blade. A fallen god warrior who once threatened to destroy Runeterra, Aatrox and his kin were bound to ancient weapons and imprisoned for centuries. That age is over. Now with stolen flesh warped in brutal approximation of his previous form, the Darkin Blade seeks an apocalyptic and long overdue vengeance. Total obliteration. Okay. Let's get into the abilities. Ooh, this is the meat. Let's Deathbringer Stance. Aatrox's next basic attack has increased range and deals a percentage of the target's maximum health as damage. This attack also significantly reduces all healing and shielding on the target for a few seconds. So we get some grievous wounds action against shields. As everyone knows, shields are the most annoying fucking thing on the universe. So this is actually a welcome mechanic. I do applaud Riot for this. Deathbringer's stance's cooldown is slightly reduced whenever Aatrox casts a spell or when he lands the edge of the Darkin Blade on a champion. And they're including the edge mechanic that they have with Darius into Aatrox. So he's kind of like Darius and Riven if they had a baby. That's what his new kit is basically like. Q, the Darkin Blade. Aatrox swings his greatsword up to 3 times. Each cast increases the damage, impacts a unique area of effect, and can hit with the edge of the blade, a second smaller hitbox, just like Darius's Q. Edge of the blade. Hitting enemies at the far end of the first 2 casts and the center of the third briefly knocks them up and deals significantly more damage. So let's watch that again. 1, 2, wider this time, and then 3, circular. So very, very similar to Riven, but I'm assuming without the dashes in between. So Aatrox doesn't actually dash during his Q animations, but you can reposition before you land by just walking normally. W, Infernal Chains. Aatrox smashes the ground, damaging the first enemy hit and briefly slowing them. If it's a champion or large monster, they are chained to the impact area. If the chained enemy is still the impact area after a few seconds, they are dragged to the center and take the damage again. So this is kind of sort of replacing his slow into a more reliable sort of CC, which I do think this is quite interesting. The best bet for you is to walk towards Aatrox because that's the smaller AoE, but again, that's where Aatrox wants you to be. So it's kind of like a gamble, and whether you have a dash or something, you can probably make it out in time. Which is, there is some counterplay to it. But let's take a look at the E next. Umbral Dash. Passive and active. Passive, Aatrox heals for a portion of the damage he deals. So just straight up, just a Gunblade passive. It's just Gunblade. The Gunblade passive. Active, Aatrox dashes, increasing his attack damage for a few seconds. Umbral Dash can store up to 2 charges and can be used simultaneously with the Darkin Blade. So this is what sort of makes him Riven 2.0. They've incorporated dashes into Aatrox's kit, something that he didn't have before. He just had the one big gap closer in the form of his Q, but now he has several gap closers in the form of the rest of his abilities. And then his ultimate, his old passive, Bloodwell, was actually moved to the ultimate in a way. World Ender. Aatrox unleashes his full might, becoming monstrous in size and taking flight on massive wings. As he transforms, Aatrox fears nearby minions and briefly increases his movement speed. The bonus is reactivated when out of combat. While transformed, Aatrox increases his overall damage and gains a blood well that stores health over World Ender's duration, reviving him if he takes lethal damage while in his true form. So instead of having the global cooldown on the Bloodwell passive, now it's just linked directly to his ultimate. So just right there, if he dies, he'll be revived with a portion of his max health, which I'm assuming now scales off AD rather than just level. I'm hoping it scales off AD, because that would make sense to me, at least, having the health gained scale off AD like a Pike passive. Which I do enjoy Pike. He is a very fun champion, although very... Ooh, baby beanpole. Get the fuck out of here. Come on. Exit. Fuck, I ain't got time for totally accurate battlegrounds right now. I'm doing a fucking league review, nigga. Okay, so everybody's thinking it. Everybody knows it. This is Riven 2.0. This is what Aatrox has become. He's gone from a total mishmash of abilities and playstyles to, hey, just play like Riven. Which may not be a bad thing. It's kind of really too early to tell, to be honest with you, whether or not this is a good change or not, or this will make him completely broken. He sort of got like the Swain type passive. Not really. Yeah, I guess they're leaning towards a lot more transformation ults recently with Swain, and now reworking Aatrox to have a transformation ult. I guess he already had transformation ult before, but that's not really the same kind of as this one. This one he gains, the Blood Well. The Blood Well is no longer tied to his damaging abilities. Now it's tied to the ult as a whole, and it comes off cooldown whenever the ult comes off cooldown, I'm assuming. Which is good. You can use this as sort of just like a GA whenever you have your ult ready. Instead of using a GA, you can use your ult. But let's go further down the list. Playing as Aatrox. Aatrox is let's lower that the fuck down. Aatrox is an infernal warlord who cleaves earth and bone to massacre entire armies. Raise the battlefield with the Darkin Blade, landing your precise hits with the edge to utterly decimate your opponents. Aatrox brings more ruin with the blade than basic attacks. Focus on cooldown reduction to unleash a constant onslaught. As enemies learn to dodge, bind them in place with infernal chains for a guaranteed guillotine, or outplay their evasion with an umbral dash as you wield the Darkin Blade. Umbral Dash's passive turns bloody teamfights into fonts of health, keeping Aatrox alive for as long as his carnage continues. Allies who shield and sustain him for more swings of the Darkin Blade will be rewarded with a frontline juggernaut who can take as much damage as he deals. Wary enemies will try to slay the Darkin Blade before his blood well fills, but even death cannot halt his warpath. Once Aatrox transforms with World Ender, flee or die. So, they're just further solidifying the message that Aatrox is gonna be, a big bruiser who deals more ability damage than basic attacks. So you want to play him with a lot of CDR, just like Riven. Um, Maybe a lot of armor pen. Black cleaver seems like a much more fitting item on him now, as before you would most likely tend to fit towards attack speed or lifesteal. Now I think armor pen is a good choice, and it seems like you can move during the transformation or the detransformation rather. Hold on, give me a second. Yeah, he's walking around while he fills up his blood well, and he's untargetable. So that provides repositioning aspect while you're downed. Basically, you can't attack, but they can't attack you either. Maybe that'll get nerfed. I have no clue. But it does seem like a nice quality of life thing that Aatrox desperately needed. I am not your enemy. I am the enemy. I am the enemy. Tips and tricks. Keep advancing. Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. This is all negligible. This is just stuff that I've already talked about. Long anyways. Yep. And that's it. That's all they gave us. But did they change the skins at all? No, that one's the same. The same. Okay, so they're all the same. What's this? I don't know what this is. Oh, that's the thingy mahooger. Whatever. Um. So yeah. He comes equipped with new classic splash art, new voice lines in all his forms. Um. I'm I'm actually really excited, despite the meme that he is just Riven 2. This is this I'm looking forward to this. I really am. Aatrox has always been a champion that I've wanted to try out, but I'm just deterred because he's utter dog shit in his current form. I do like his like overall aesthetic, like the way he do though. Um, I like all the Darkin except for Varus. There's only fucking 3 Darkin in the game. Varus, Rost, and Aatrox. I do like Rost a lot. I love his dialogue, and I hope that I haven't looked at the voice lines yet or the responses, but I hope Aatrox is more of that like arrogant, just hey, you're gonna fucking die type Darkin that I like instead of maybe just like, or maybe he's just crazy, rah, carnage, which is viable. But I do like Rost's snappy comebacks. Those are really great. His interaction with Kane is great. Um. Anyway, this isn't fucking Kane. This is Aatrox. Um. I'm really excited to see where this goes. This is definitely a champ that I will be playing more of now more than ever because I think overall in my entire fucking league career I've played like what 5 Aatrox games because he's just that terrible. Um, Although he is seeing a lot more play recently, even without the rework, I've definitely seen a lot more Aatroxes in my games. But I just could never make him work. Maybe I'm bad, but he's just in his current state. He's a mishmash of champion archetypes that just don't work. And now they're focusing on making him more like Riven, and which isn't a bad thing. Again, I don't know if it's a bad thing, but I'm assuming it's not a bad thing. It's like they're combining mechanics like they do for a lot of reworks. They don't come up with new things. They just you know put a rehash on some older things, combine them. So you got the Riven Q mixed with Darius Q. You got Bear Trap on a rope, but the midpoint is changed. You got little dashies, and you got Swainel. So yeah, again, really curious to see how this works. Um, yeah, that's Aatrox.